Hello, I'm Mike Cisco of the IT Manager Institute. Welcome to my IT Manager Institute channel. Today I'm introducing a new segment called Whiteboard Lessons. In this first video, I chose Bite the Head of a Frog. So let's get started. Bite the Head of a Frog comes from my IT Management Models book that I wrote many years ago. In the book, I have 73 models in 6 different categories, and they all deal with management principles specifically related to IT management. Each model has a discussion that's contained on 2 pages, so if you were to lay a book open, you'd see a brief description and key points on the left, and then a more detailed discussion on the right. So Bite the Head of a Frog is model number 23. I've shared this concept or this model all over the world. What you see here are several of my IT Manager Institute programs in various parts of the world. No one that I've run across was aware of this concept. In fact, I was not aware of it either. When I was writing IT management models, I carried a journal around with me, and in that journal I would have a page that would have a model or a graphic or a management topic. And what I would do is I was collecting information to write that book. Well, I had lunch with a colleague one day. He was one of my instructors when I went to IBM Sales School. His name's Paul. When Paul and I had lunch, I showed him my journal and talked to him about what I was planning to do in writing the IT Management Models book. He said, well, if you're going to do that, you need to write one about Bite the Head of a Frog. So he explained it to me. I wasn't aware of it before that either. So again, I've shared this all over the world. No one that I've run across has been aware of it unless they heard it from me. So what is Bite the Head of a Frog all about? Well, tough issues often get put off until a better time. This can be a problem for you. It can be a real problem for you. Let's take a tough issue example. Let's say you've got to fire an employee. You've coached and you've worked with this employee, and for either because of performance or behavior, you're not able to get the result that this employee needs to be at in order to succeed in our company. So it's gotten to a point where you've got to fire this employee. This is a distasteful, ugly challenge. We don't really want to do this. This is not something that's going to be fun, but it's going to be an ugly, challenging, distasteful issue. When we get to the point that we're going to fire the employee, we tend to wait until the end of the day. In fact, we put it off until the end of the week a lot of times, and then we wait until the very end of the day on the last day of the week. Then that's when we go and terminate the employee. Now, I'm showing a graphic here. I'm not trying to make fun or light of terminating an employee. That's not a good thing. It's not a fun thing. What we want to do is we want to coach and help that employee be successful. But there are going to be some employees at some point in your career where you're just not going to be able to get them to a point where they can be successful. Either they can't do the job, they don't want to do the job, or their behavior is not such as that's appropriate for our workplace. To do the right thing, you need to terminate that employee. It's going to be rare, not going to run into this very often. Again, we tend to wait until the end of the day to go do this distasteful deed. It's like biting the head of a frog. All right, well, that eats up energy. It eats up a lot of your energy all day. It creates stress. You're worried about the situation. You're thinking about that. You're not working on what you need to work on. So because of that, you lose productivity. In fact, you lose most of your productivity during the day because you're not really focused or thinking about what you need to focus on. You're thinking about this termination event coming up. All right, the other thing you're doing is you're losing credibility. Other people in your company, they know that this employee is a problem employee. The longer you wait to address this issue, you're losing credibility with your employees, maybe other department managers, or maybe you're even losing credibility with your senior management team because of this situation. So bite the head of a frog, what that says is deal with the ugly issues proactively. Get after it. Stop procrastinating. Stop putting it off and go for it now. Take care of the issue. Stop this procrastinating problem. The problem is not going to go away. All right, back to our example. I had a manager working for me one time, and he had gotten to a point where he was going to have to terminate an employee. Well, he was going to do it on Friday afternoon at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier. All week he's worried about this situation. Friday, he goes at 4 o'clock. He goes to get this employee to take care of the termination, and guess what? The employee's not there. The employee had gone home or gone somewhere and left work. That's one of the reasons this manager needed to terminate the employee, because we couldn't get him to focus on his responsibilities and take care of issues that he was responsible for. So this manager had to worry about this all weekend. Next Monday, he brings the employee in first thing in the morning and takes care of the issue. Address tough issues early in the day. It's not helping you or the problem employee by keeping them around all day. Now, if you've got something where you need to get something finished by that employee, that's kind of an issue that you need to deal with. Hanging around and just waiting till the end of the day to take care of the termination, that's not helping anybody. All right, evaluate the consequences, what could happen when you terminate this employee, and prepare for the impact. Everybody's different. Some people respond to these situations differently than other people. And plan for the event. Get your act together. Do a ready, aim, fire. Get ready, plan what you need to do, and then go execute it. Get your ducks in a row. And approach the issue with a win-win in mind. Well, wait a minute. You might ask, really? Are you serious? Can firing someone be a win-win? Well, the answer to that is absolutely it can. Here's the situation. If you've got a problem employee who's not performing, either because of performance capability or behavior, there's something going on with this employee that's keeping him or her from performing successfully in your work environment. You owe it to that employee to let that person go somewhere else so he can be successful. You owe it to that employee. So it's definitely a win for the employee. Now, when you do this, the employee's not going to think it's a win, but ultimately when they get somewhere else and they become successful, they're going to feel like it's a win. I've had 2 situations that I can specifically remember that turned out exactly like that. I had to fire a friend of mine because I inherited him in an organization that I picked up that they gave me responsibility for, and he was not able to do the job. I had to push him out of the company. People get stuck. They don't want to go look for work in other companies. I had to push him out. Well, later on, after he became very successful in a sales job, which is what he should have been doing all along, he and I have talked about this situation, and he thanks me for pushing him out of that job that he knew he was not successful in and knew he didn't like the job and so forth. But he liked being with the company. He wanted to stay with the company. Well, the problem was I couldn't get him a sales job in our company because it was a technical sale, and he didn't have the mindset to be able to handle that kind of situation. So I had to push him out. He became a very successful salesman selling copiers to mid-sized companies and did very well. So absolutely, it can be a win-win. It's a win for the employee, the problem employee I'm talking about, and it's also a win for you and the organization. All right, so bite the head of a frog. Deal with ugly issues proactively. Stop procrastinating. Take care of the issue. Address tough issues early in the day. Evaluate the consequences and prepare for the impact. And then plan for the event. Get your act together. Get your ducks in a row. And then approach the issue with a win-win. When you do this, you're going to have some big benefits, I can assure you. You're going to have higher productivity. You're going to be more productive during this process, and ultimately your organization is going to be more productive when you get a successful employee in place to take care of that situation. It's going to create less stress for you, and you're going to be taking care of an issue. All of these things are positive for you, the problem employee, and the example that I gave, and also for your company. All right, so bite the head of a frog. When you have an ugly, distasteful issue, no matter what it is, stop procrastinating, get focused on it, and go take care of it. Step up to the issue and manage. That's what IT management's all about, and that's what bite the head of a frog relates to. All right, thanks again for taking a look at my video. My IT Manager Institute channel has 4 main parts that you see below. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you can get updates as I release them. And then if you're interested in more IT Manager resources, take a look at my website at itmanagerinstitute.com. Thanks again. I hope this video was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you on a future one.